Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. If you're focused on optimizing your child's learning, or hey, maybe even your own, you already know that reading is a fundamental pillar of education. But let's be totally honest, trying to transform how kids interact with books can often feel like a total uphill battle, right? Well, today we're setting the stage to completely rethink that dynamic. We're going to look at the data, the psychology, and the practical steps to build a genuine reading habit, entirely without forcing it. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is a scene playing out in living rooms literally all over the world. On one side, you have that classic, totally exasperated parental command, go and read your books. And on the other side, that immediate, groaning, eye-rolling reaction from the kid. Ugh, reading is boring. It's just a complete stalemate. The parent is frustrated, the child feels pressured, and absolutely zero genuine reading actually happens. So to fix this, we need a really clear blueprint. Here is our structured agenda for this explainer. First, the reading dilemma. Second, why reading actually matters. Third, practical strategies for parents. Fourth, balancing screens and books. And finally, we'll wrap up with the 7-day reading challenge. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the reading dilemma. We really have to address this fundamental disconnect between a parent's good intentions and a child's natural reactions. Look, when a kid pushes back against reading, they aren't necessarily rebelling against learning itself. They're just reacting to how the reading is being framed. This means we've got to shift our entire paradigm. For a student who boldly declares, I hate reading, handing them some dense 300-page book is just overwhelming. It's totally counterproductive. The initial goal is not making them suffer through a difficult textbook for a solid hour. The goal is simply to spark that light bulb moment where they discover that reading is actually an enjoyable experience. Moving on to Section 2, why reading actually matters. Once we realize that enjoyment is the gateway, we need to talk about why we're even fighting this battle in the first place. Solving this dilemma is absolutely critical for overall academic survival, not just for passing a single English exam. The sheer scope of the benefits is massive. Regular reading develops vocabulary, comprehension, critical thinking, imagination, and writing ability. But here's the real kicker. Reading is the foundation for literally everything else. Think about it. A child cannot solve a complex math equation or a physics problem or really grasp history if they cannot comprehend the written instructions right in front of them. Reading is the fundamental interface for all learning. All right, let's get into Section 3, Practical Strategies for Parents. This is your core toolkit. We're going to cover 8 highly actionable strategies to organically build a reading-friendly home. Let's start with the first 3. Number 1. Start with their interests. If they love football, find books about football. If they love animals or science, start right there. Number 2, start small. Setting a goal of just 10 to 15 minutes before bedtime is highly effective. And number 3, create a daily routine. Maybe it's 7:30 p.m. or right after homework. The exact time doesn't matter, but the consistency definitely does. A small 10-minute habit done consistently is infinitely better than a massive 2-hour reading sprint that completely fizzles out after 3 days. Now, this brings us to a somewhat tough truth for parents. Children learn from what we do, not only what we say. This is extremely powerful, guys. If you're sitting on the couch yelling at your kid to put their phone away and read a book while you are simultaneously scrolling through your own smartphone, you are sending a deeply mixed message. You have to model the behavior. Let them see you reading a newspaper, a novel, or a professional article. It communicates that reading is just a normal thing that adults do. And this brilliantly illustrates how a photorealistic, imperfect, but cozy reading corner with highly visible books normalizes reading for the whole family. You don't need some massive, expensive library. You just need a reading-friendly environment. Create a cozy corner with a comfortable chair and some good lighting. You must keep books highly visible and easy to access. I mean, if a child has to dig through a dusty box in the garage to find a book, they just won't do it. Furthermore, let them choose their own books. Take them to a library or bookstore and provide choice within age-appropriate boundaries. Ownership absolutely breeds interest. This brings up a massive pitfall. Are you treating reading as an exam or conversation? If a child finishes a chapter and you immediately interrogate them like, what is the main character's name? What is the moral lesson? Well, the child quickly learns that reading equals being tested. It completely kills the fun. Instead, frame it as a conversation. Ask them naturally, hey, what did you think about the story? Which character did you actually like? Fostering genuine curiosity and connection is what keeps them happily turning the pages. Which leads right into a strict rule. Never use reading as a punishment. It is so incredibly common for a frustrated parent to yell, "Go to your room and read," when a child misbehaves. But listen, if you tie books to misbehavior, you are unintentionally wiring their brain to permanently view reading as a penalty. Reading should always be associated with positive experiences, curiosity, and discovery. Next up, Section 4, Balancing Screens and Books. We simply cannot talk about reading without acknowledging the modern elephant in the room, those massive glowing rectangles in our pockets constantly competing for our attention. It's the most highly relatable question we face, right? What about phones and social media? Getting a child to read when instant digital gratification is literally just a tap away is genuinely challenging. But rest assured, we do not have to banish technology entirely to win this battle. So the crucial point is compromise and structure. Step 1, don't eliminate technology, balance it. Step 2 is incredibly effective. Use screen time as a reward. Allow 30 minutes of digital entertainment only after the reading or study session is completely finished. Step 3, establish household screen-free periods for everyone. And yes, that includes parents. If the whole house is off their phones for an hour, reading suddenly becomes a naturally appealing option to fill that time. Finally, Section 5, the 7-day reading challenge. If you are starting completely from scratch, this is your highly actionable, structured on-ramp. Let's move to and see how this builds across a single week. Days 1 and 2, keep it incredibly brief. Just read for 10 minutes. Days 3 and 4, push it slightly to 15 minutes. Or maybe spend a few minutes reading together. By days 5 and 6, let the child choose a specific story and have a natural, chill conversation about it. And on day 7, celebrate completing the week. Do not focus on how many pages were finished. The only goal here is building the habit. To summarize our overarching goal, we really have 5 pillars. For reading to stop feeling like a chore or a punishment, the environment you create in your home absolutely must be accessible, interesting, consistent, enjoyable, and most importantly, normal. When books are just a normal, expected part of everyday family life, kids naturally stop fighting them. I want you to actively engage with this right now. If you're a parent watching, analyze your own home environment for a second. What is honestly stopping your child from reading? Is it too much screen time, a lack of visible books? And if you're a student watching this, ask yourself, what is the last book you genuinely enjoyed? Finding that answer is the very first step to reigniting your habit. We'll leave you with this final, powerful thought. Don't force a child to love reading. Create an environment where they can discover why reading is worth loving. You are building a habit one single day at a time. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. So, what is the very first step you're going to take in your home today?